Hi guys, MJ Hobby Corner here. This is another update, and today I have something a little bit different. I've been working a lot on terrain this week. Julie and I want to get going with some Grim Fight, and I needed more terrain, need more sci-fi terrain, and of course this terrain can be used in any game. But this specific terrain that I was building these past couple of days is very easy, and it was designed for robot legions. I want to have some terrain specific for robot legions, grim dark, and maybe some terrain for high elves, because that's what Julie plays, and maybe Tau. So what I mean by that is just design terrain that might look like or feel like buildings, right, for these separate races in grim dark. And there are reasons for that, and we are going to set up some games with that terrain. So I have some terrain to show you, but the primary thing is I want to show you a conversion that I've been doing, and then I'm going to show you my Robot Legion army that I'm assembling and everything else. But first, this conversion. It's an interesting conversion. I think I did it from scratch, the pieces that I needed, because I don't have the pieces that I needed, I don't have any bits that fit what I wanted to build. And this is going to be a Robot Legion spider-like robot thing for the army. And it's heavily inspired by the new Necron spiders and things like that. So let's go to the craft bench and I'll show you that conversion first, and then we'll switch over and I'll show you all the other stuff. Very busy in the studio, and we do have a tornado threat here in our area later on today. Some really bad thunderstorms. So hopefully no tornado, but what are we going to do? So that's definitely going to affect uploading time, because our internet, you sneeze on it, it goes away. So we'll have to see. It's going to be an interesting afternoon here in the studio. So, all right, folks, let's go check out that craft bench. Okay, so first things first, I wanted a tripod-like set of legs, right? Inspired by War of the Worlds. And I wanted something tall and big. And I had converted this old Necron Destroyer body with some GAR parts from Gates of Antares. And I had the thing hovering on a little flight stand that I made, and that's fine. This body is not glued to the legs, so if I want to make it a hovering creature, I can. But the important thing was to add these legs. And I'm going to show you now how I build these legs in order to attach them to my destroyer body there, and then this way make a spider-like creature. Now I'm going to add some more guns here. There's going to be 2 arms with some gauze weapons, and that'll complete the little conversion. So I'll show you real quick how I build the legs, and they're not quite finished yet because I have to file them up a little bit and maybe complete some of the green stuff here and there. But it's not a bad looking piece. It's not a bad looking piece. Definitely very spidery and tall. So one very important tip that I wanna say. When I was building these, of course, the green stuff is soft, and it shifts and moves, and so in order to really support the legs so they dry nice and straight, I embed them into foam. And that's a nice little tip whenever building this kind of stuff. And here's the legs. Okay, so I embed them in the foam, and I put this thing out in the sun, and it cooked that green stuff right up. It just dried it right up, and now it's nice and strong. Okay, so here are some of the materials I needed for my spider legs. I have a barbecue stick. These are a little bit thicker than these sticks here, and these are like toothpicks. They're miniature skewers, but they're about the same diameter as the thicker toothpicks. So those 2 lengths, and that's optional. The only reason is that I made the little rear legs there a little bit wider than the 2 front legs. All right, and again, that's personal preference, really. A little drill bit, and then some cable, some wiring. Now this is the soft rubbery stuff. I got this at Walmart. It's not good for armatures because it has a rubber coating, and so it's excellent for this kind of cable work, right, on the model. So, and I may add a couple more cables here and there. And I do use this is my armature wire. This is 20 gauge bead wire. And then my cutters, my pliers, and I have my scissors around just in case. So I already marked on the fork, oh, and a plastic fork, of course. I already marked on the plastic fork where I want to cut the piece that connects to the body. Okay, that's going to connect to the body. And if I want to make it permanent, I can glue this together. That's fine. So I'm going to just show you very briefly how I did it. So I cut my fork teeth, and I have a little one that's a little bit longer than the others, and that's okay. And I'll just put that one in the back, and then these form the claws of the spider legs here. So I very carefully drill a hole into one of the forks that form the claw, okay? And that's where my little toothpick is going to go, and that's going to form the first section of the leg. We also need green stuff, by the way. That's very important. So I'm going to take a little bit of green stuff, form it, and then that's how I attach these pieces, and we continue from there. Okay, so I made a little bit of green stuff. You do need your green stuff. And then I'm going to introduce a new tool, my X-Acto blade, and some remnants of old sprue, and I'll show you what I do with that. All right, so let's tear up a little bit of green stuff. Okay, and I'm just going to put it in the tip, kind of wrap it around the tip, and then you see my claw has a little hole, and I just insert it. Okay, and we're going to trim that excess piece. I'm going to insert it as deep as it could go, so it's nice and tight. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim this piece right away. Okay, trim it, and later I'll put another little knob there. Now, this has a little bit of flexibility, so I'm going to make sure the claw is straight. Okay, and then, don't be like me, guys. Measure stuff. I'm a goober. But I'm just going to do this real quick. Very, very by eye. Like I said, just measure it. You know, there's nothing wrong with measuring. I'm just going to do this. Let's see, just make sure. Yeah, that's where I want it. Now, they're not going to be identical, and I don't want them to be identical, so that's okay. All right, so I just cut my piece there, and that's going to be this piece, and then we go up this way. All right, so I'm going to use the rest of the stick here. These are the thin ones, because these are going to be the front legs. And I'm only doing one leg to just demonstrate. So next thing, I like to file these a little bit to straighten them up. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I cut a 20 gauge piece, a piece of 20 gauge wire about 3 inches long. Okay, and with my pliers, I hold the front end of the leg and I wrap the wire around it, and I go all the way as much as possible, because this side is going to wrap around this piece as well. And this is the other part of the leg. Okay, and I already cut it. And so let me just, I'm going to do this by eye. Okay. And notice that when I cut this stick, I actually angled this. It's like a 45-degree angle so it could fit on the leg. And now we are going to fix this part. Okay. And it's okay if the wire is like that because we're going to fill it with green stuff now. All right, next step. Okay, so next step, put my little green stuff blob, okay, right at the joint there. And we're going to make sure that we cover it. And it's good to work with a little thing of water, you know, nearby so that it doesn't like stick all over your fingers. Whoops, I gotta get this thing in the camera. Okay, so we'll do that for the time being. All right, that's gonna hold the leg together quite nicely. We're gonna add a little more green stuff to the base of the leg. Okay, and that's what that looks like. And this one has a bit of an angle, and that's okay. It'll give you a little bit more posability when I attach it. Now I'm doing another set of these because I have two of those spider bodies, you know, those destroyer bodies that I'm using. So I'll have two of these guys. Maybe one of them I'll make more of a melee kind of unit, and then the other one I could do like ranged. Okay, and just cover up some of the areas with green stuff. You could leave some of the wire exposed as detail, but and of course I messed this up, but that's okay because just fix it. And the next step is going to be interesting. Okay, so there is my leg, and this is what I'm going to do next. I take my sprue, and you see these little round knobs. I trim those out, cut those out, and that's going to go here for my joints. And I'll show you that here on my spider leg. You see that? So that gives it a lot more character, I think. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I have my first little knob embedded into the clay. That's going to represent the little joint. And let me embed the next one, and I need about 4 of these. Okay, so I embedded my little joints, and I want to make sure that they are not covered, that they show through the green stuff. So just kind of do that. And here's another little joint thing, and then I just flatten the green stuff a little. Okay, so next thing is to add some wires and stuff to the leg, but I have to build 3 of these, right? And I'm not going to do that right now. I also add a little bit of green stuff right here to cover that. But basically I'll need 3 of these, and then what happens is I have a ball of green stuff right in there, a ball of green stuff, which then all these sticks get embedded into, and also the shorter piece of the fork right here gets embedded in the top, and that's what's going to actually attach the legs to the creature. Now once I'm done with that, you'll notice that there's some electrical bits here. This was from an old VCR, and that's from my little bits box, and I just cut them out and then add them as extra detail. There's a little sprue bit here. Okay, and there is the spray painted leg piece. I want a silver. Of course this has to get a wash and take away some of the shininess, give it a little wash, a little bit of weathering. But there is the leg, the tripod for my new little spider dude for Robot Legions. Now I'm going to attach the body here in just a minute, just to see how it looks. Alright, and there's the spider walker, and I am going to add those extra weapons with some Necron Gauze rifles that I have. And yeah, he looks pretty cool. He's way up there, you know, it's like a daddy long legs configuration. So I like it. I like it. I'm satisfied. And that's my new Spider Walker for Robot Legions Grim Dark Future. So let's let all this stuff dry. And that's it. And here is my Robot Legion army for Grim Dark in all its grimness. This was an old Necron force, what's left of an old Necron army, and it was in storage boxes and they were damaged, broken, whatever. So I assembled everyone, repaired everyone, and added quite a few conversions. For example, this guy, he's like a sniper dude. So I added this really big gauze weapon. And so he's going to be a sniper. And then there's this dude. This was a conversion. This is a gauze carbine. It's a shorter gauze weapon, and I made that conversion. And then this one's interesting. This is an old 2nd edition Necron. I mean, really old 2nd edition Necron. I added a destroyer weapon that, of course, I had no destroyer for it. It was just a weapon, so I added that bit and then made my own staff for him out of some pariah parts. And there we go. We got a Technomancer. And you see like an old GAR. This is an old GAR unit, and that's gonna be, because it's kind of spidery, I'm gonna put it in my Robot Legions army. And then I'm also using this Drop Zone Commander model. This is a beautiful model, and I am gonna repaint it though. I'm not gonna do anything to it like a conversion or anything like that, because I do play Drop Zone. But this is definitely gonna be part of my Robot Legion army. It has that spidery scorpion look. So that's another unit. And there go the Wraiths. And I have 2 of these tomb guys, tomb spiders, which I need to paint now and weather. They have that silvery base. And I have another conversion here for my Robot Legions. And then this dude here, also going to be for Robot Legions. I got a couple of guys coming out of the ground. So that's it. I mean, yeah, that's a whole army. And we have a monolith back there, which I got to repaint. And that's pretty much the army. And Julie's army is gaining. I mean, I assembled quite a few models. And there's a bunch of them on another shelf that are assembled. And I'm going to be painting them. And now the last table is just full of stuff. So I have my terrain here. Here's some of the terrain I did earlier. I showed that in a video. Here's like a generator piece I'm going to be painting. But all of this stuff, with the exception of maybe this one, this is going to be more Tau, I think. I don't know. Everything else is going to be Robot Legion terrain. There are the big like monolith type stuff, okay, and that was all that. These are like we bought some mushrooms and they came in these cool containers, so I saved them, and that's what I made the main bodies of the buildings out of. And then a lot of the parts that my subscribers send me over the mail, you know, make up the rest of the building. So these have to be weathered and repainted. This is like a base coat. And here's some kind of monolith thing. I'm going to be repainting that, and I think I'm going to actually put a portal on these. And then these I did today, and this was very quick. I put some electrical components that I had, some of those old VCR components, and I'm going to be painting this. And here's another one. Just added some stuff to give it some interest. And this is another building. And these were like containers from a dinner that we had, so I saved them because I love the texture. and I'm going to be repainting that. And then this is the final piece, and I think I'm going to add a portal to this one, and this way the Robot Legion can kind of emerge there. It'll be some kind of bunker. I'm going to add some rooms and some more interesting stuff. But there it is. And this thing moves because I may actually, this may go connected to some pipes and connected to another building. But I want it modular. So, some kind of generator system or something. I don't know. So we're going to give that a coat of paint